2 years in preparation and already 3.5 months into operation, Impact Hub Yerevan is the implementation of what co-founders called a really simple idea. A space where the best and the brightest in the country working on impact projects would get to work side by side. Well, a little more than 2 years ago, this simple idea drew a few people into action. Now the idea is embraced by 110 members, over 40 organizations, enterprises, projects, and the number is growing.
We want to be as diverse as we can, so the ideas can be something related to a business idea, like a social enterprise, for example, or it can be an NGO, or it can be a foundation. The legal entity structure isn't as important as two things: the idea and to what extent it actually makes a change in the country, and of course the team and the people and sort of their worldview. Look, here's one of our members. Here's Ani. She is working with the Impact organization, which are three different companies that are on the crossroads of IT and art. So that's a very interesting collaboration in the corner. We have here meeting rooms, so people are constantly meeting and working on different projects in these meeting rooms. Right here, here's Paula Hem. She is a fashion designer, and so she is, I guess, having a meeting with either a collaborator or a client here. Here is the Homeland Development Initiative Foundation. Many of us know about them. They create jobs in the border regions of Armenia. I actually wanted to show you how things kind of work around here. So somebody, let's say, has something that they want to solve, right? So this is one of our members, Artyom Tatevosyan, who is creating a sun-dried fruit company here in Armenia. And so this is our whole community's brainstorming of what it should be called. So everybody comes together from every sector and basically puts their ideas here, right? So right now it's called Arevaham, sun-dried fruit. We have our English, our Armenian. So it's really nice because it becomes like everybody in the community is sort of invested in the success of this business or this initiative. So that's a lot of fun. Sun-made. Yeah. Yeah, sun-made. Please, yeah. Armenia, yes, go for it. So this is Rubina's.
When professionals and ideas hub together in a single space, it naturally creates a network of connections and know-how that would take time and effort for a person or an organization to create individually.
So the formula has a lot to do with serendipity, actually. We call them constructive collisions that happen here all the time. So just by virtue of having people in the same space who may be from very different sectors, so rather than working in their sort of NGO silo or their business silo, just by virtue of having to share the same coffee maker every day, you know, or hang out in the same lounge area, conversations start to happen between different people and organizations. And so already now, 3.5 months later, we have numerous business/NGO partnerships that are happening, people who are writing proposals together, or just very common things, just helping each other out.
There are impact hubs all around the world, more than 80. But what is specific about Impact Hub Yerevan?
The whole purpose of starting an impact hub here was less about creating a workspace, because in some of the other contexts it's really about co-working and workspace, as opposed to, in our context, bringing sort of these brains together to tackle the issues that Armenia is facing right now. Everything from economic development, you know, issues of poverty, issues of job creation, and so on and so forth.
The impact is happening. Examples are many. Development programs can come together with business ventures, or people with the same ideas can share their process.
You know, there's things like co-opetition, right? When you compete in some areas, but you work together to push things forward in other areas. So, for example, when there have been sort of different fundraising drives for different things, the latest example being the war in Artsakh and wanting to help the families of the wounded and the killed. There were many organizations that all had the same idea. But one of the things that's happened is that these organizations have realized, even if they have independent funding sources, let's at least coordinate how we go about helping these families so that it's even, so that everybody's being addressed. And so those are the kinds of things I think that a place like this makes it easier to have that kind of coordination.
We have somebody who was working on passive solar greenhouses out in the regions, and somebody else who was working on pure business doing dried fruits. So those two people kind of came together just by virtue of having their desks next to each other, who didn't know each other 3 months ago, and now they're working on a proposal that brings together the idea of having passive solar greenhouses in villages, for example, that would help people have vegetables and fruits and year round, and the more business concept of exporting.
To be a member, you do not have to be based in Armenia. You can have a membership and therefore a workspace or a support mechanism for you waiting when you visit.
For me, it's important to get my work done when I'm here. I'm an associate professor at USC. I have different grants and papers to write. I need a place where I have a reliable internet connection. I have colleagues that I can interact with, exchange ideas with, because at the end of the day, everything I'm doing academically, I want to somehow translate to help Armenia someday. Being here helps me network. It helps me have fun rather than being cooped up in my hotel or somewhere else. And I think it's a great opportunity. I like to get the updates from Sarah as to what is going on in the hub. My wife is also a member, and we've been coming back to Armenia once every 1 to 2 years, so this is a great opportunity for me to have a space where I can get my work done, stay up to date.
Over here is Vasken Brudyan's office. He is trying to work on creating a design industry in Armenia. Simultaneously, for example, we have the Smithsonian Institution, which is the Washington, D.C. based Smithsonian, doing an awesome 4-year cultural heritage tourism project in Armenia. Here is Strach Enterprises. Roger Strach has been engaging the country for years, and he invests in IT startups in Armenia, as well as one of our mentors. One thing that we are really insistent on is that people who have more experience mentor the ones who are just starting out. So for example, Roger was here last week and he mentored about 15 of our members. Here is Semina Consulting, which has basically single-handedly changed the wine industry in Armenia by putting out amazing wines. This is our permanent desk area, which is basically different organizations and individuals take a desk and they sit in the same place every day. Here is One Armenia, and they have a brand new member, this little kitten that has just appeared in our offices. Over here is News Deeply, which is creating fantastic platforms so that we can understand news more deeply. So far they've already created Arctic Deeply, Syria Deeply, Refugees Deeply, and Water Deeply, and they're a wonderful team. The loudest team we have here is Repad Armenia. We're sitting back here, and they, of course, are working on repatriation.
Shifting the mentality of things here in Armenia, Impact Hub has taken the good old can't be done attitude towards things can be done, and this is literally the first thing you see when you walk in.